What's going on, everybody? Main Event Madness, year-end edition, New Year's edition. Happy New Year's Eve to everybody out there. 2015 is officially in the books tomorrow. Hope you guys had a great Christmas, great holiday, guys. Thank you for tuning in and hanging out with us once again, as you guys do every week. We really appreciate you guys being here each and every week for us. Without you guys, there is no show. You know, my English teachers are going to be hating me for that one. And I got my usual crew with me, my two co-hosts, Aaron Ramadanov, Mark Madison. Gentlemen, Happy New Year's to both you guys. Hope you guys are excited for 2016.
It's going to be a great year. Hopefully better than 2015.
Both personally, professionally, and when it comes to wrestling, lots of different options out there. Still recovering from Christmas dinner. Boy, that turducken was great.
We got a lot of stuff to get through in the next 45 minutes or so, guys. And I said this at the top of the show, but honestly, and I'm going to get a little bit redundant here, but when Wayne approached me a little over 2 years ago saying he wanted the wrestling show back on his website, I thought whatever, because the longest I had done a show at that point was maybe 4 months. For one reason or another, it never worked, and whatever. Sure, I'll do it. And then year one was in the books, and at a lot of points I could have walked away this year. There are a lot of trying times, but I said this to you guys last week. I honestly thank you to both of you for coming and help me steer the ship into calmer waters. I'm excited for 2016. You guys stepping in and helping me out and hanging out with me and doing this thing we call Main Event Madness every week. It means more to me than you guys know, and I hope one day we can get enough success in this that it'll reap benefits to you guys too, and one day somehow make it up to you guys for the time you guys are spending helping me out with this. I do appreciate it, guys, so a thank you to you guys.
No problem. Like I said, I think it's a lot more about fun and having a good time, and that's what I'm here for. I mean, it'd be great to make some money off this. It'd be great, right? I mean, but in the long run, I'm just happy to be a part of this and have a good time.
Same here. I mean, it's a lot of fun just to be able to go out there and just talk about what it is that you guys love and whatever it is that you don't like when it comes to wrestling. I think that's what makes being a wrestling fan no different than anybody else. And that's exactly what we're happy about with Main Event Madness. It's just the freedom to be able to say what you feel. And if you like it or you don't like it, there's no harm. No one's hurt about it. There's tomorrow, and hopefully things get better.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely. Now, guys, before we get into this, I'm going to throw a little time to you guys. Give you guys like 30 seconds each. I know that's, the world's largest amount of time. But what's your guys' favorite moment? Mark, I'll go to you first. What was looking back at 2015 in the world of professional wrestling? What was your favorite moment of 2015?
Are we talking like a match?
Anything.
Gosh, there were some things that stood out. I will say, and it's not even WWE related, which for those that aren't watching, I really jumped on the Ring of Honor bandwagon the last year or so. I really enjoyed what it was, the year that they have. And for me, seeing Jay Lethal beat Jay Briscoe to capture not only the television title, but which he held at that point, I want to say it was about 14 months at that point, then to capture the Ring of Honor World title was pretty amazing because he didn't surrender either. And I still think to this point of this year, because of the kind of year Jay Lethal had, that was the one moment for me. So it wasn't even WWE related. Anybody who's seen that match, it was great. His family was there. The Briscoe family was there. It was tremendous because it stood out, and it really got that crowd of 1,000 that was in attendance on their feet. Because win or lose, it didn't matter. They put on a hell of a show. But that particular match, that particular moment, that's maybe what stood out for me.
Yeah, I mean, so many great moments this year. When you look back, I mean, of course, Rollins cashing in at WrestleMania 31, amazing moment. Probably, Joel, you guys, I think John, you and Joel can attest how great of a moment that was. I think, when you look at the year of 2015 on a WWE platform, I mean, of course, it's been stricken with injuries, but there have been good moments. Of course, Roman winning the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, in my opinion, on Raw was a great moment. I thought the DX and NWO thing at WrestleMania 31 was a nostalgia-filled moment, which I will remember for a long time. I thought the Rumble this year, even though it had its down spots and its dark spots. I thought Lesnar and Rollins and Cena putting on a great match at the Rumble was great. Nakamura and Ibushi from Wrestle Kingdom 9, fantastic. That entire show is probably my favorite show of the year, from top to bottom as far as wrestling is concerned. And like you said, Mark, with Ring of Honor, Jay Lethal putting on a great year in the independent circuit. And just a great, people could say whatever they want, but I think this year has been a really good year for wrestling. I think WWE is making some strides into moving toward focusing on the younger talent and really enhancing guys like Roman and Seth Rollins, even though he got hurt. And I think the indie scene is as hot as it's ever been with the Ring of Honor, New Japan. Hopefully TNA can turn their sinking ship around. And just a bunch of great promotions doing a great job. So 2015 overall, I felt like was a good year for pro wrestling.
Oh, sorry, John. Before you get in there, sorry, Aaron. One thing I did want to mention when it came to TNA, the Ethan Carter Rockstar Spud feud. Anybody that's probably seen that really elevated both of them. Incredible that Ethan Carter III was part of the WWE's developmental, and then he's completely partly, and was just talent that should have been bigger than he was, and then to see what happened in TNA, they were probably amongst the highest points. Having them and probably the Wolves come out of TNA as real high spots for them.
Absolutely. I mean, I think a lot of people are when we talk about Superstar of the Year or Wrestler of the Year, I think a lot of people are overlooking Ethan Carter III as he has almost single-handedly carried that company this year as their world champion, and I think a lot of people need to maybe recognize that he's definitely in contention for Wrestler of the Year, or even maybe breakout Superstar of the Year, definitely in the contention for that as well.
Absolutely. And, for me, I got to say the whole experience of going to WrestleMania this year was my favorite moment. Going for the first time to WrestleMania, the Hall of Fame, Access, my first Raw in, at the time, 2 years. So, all of that, I won't forget the first thing I noticed when we got to Levi Stadium was the ocean of people waiting in line to go in there. Just ridiculous. And like you mentioned, Seth Rollins cashing in, the DX NWO thing, which caught all of us off guard. But we kind of thought maybe once the NWO came out, the DX might.
Mm-hmm.
Or was it the other way around?
DX came out first, then the NWO.
But either way, once one came out, kind of hoped the other one would, and then you hear the NWO's music hit, and it was just the whole experience was awesome. And I don't know if I'll ever, unless I go to WrestleMania again, I don't know as a wrestling fan if you ever suffer such depression like you do the day after Raw that weekend. Mm-hmm. Like we were there a day. We were there. We were there Wednesday to Wednesday, and that Tuesday, such depression that it was all over, and we were still there for another day. Which is kind of a selfish way to look at it. It's like, damn, we're still on vacation. We're still in California. Still 3,000 miles away from New York, where it's 20 degrees out. But it's over.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, guys, year in review, New Year's edition of the show, and we got our Main Event Madness first year-end awards. And without further ado, let's jump right into it with. We'll go with the Finisher of the Year award. Now, this was a very vague way of wording this, and I am open to any and all constructive criticism, complete criticism, feedback, opinions, anything to make this improved for next year. So I'm opening the floor to you guys to give me some feedback either now, after the show. It doesn't matter.
I went with Spear, the Spear by Roman Reigns. I think this was, like you said, this was kind of a vague topic, and it was a little unclear on exactly what I was going to go with. But I feel like they've been building that Spear to be something devastating for Roman, and I think it's kind of worked for him. I also was considering the curb stomp because that was a move so devastating, apparently, that they outlawed it for Seth Rollins to even use, and it won him the WWE Championship. So I was considering both of those moves, but yeah, I mean, either the curb stomp or the spear would be my finisher of the year.
And after tallying, sorry, Mark, I didn't mean to cut you off if you were about to say anything, but after tallying, we had results come in from almost a dozen people from the Main Event Madness family, if you will, or friends and colleagues.
La Familia.
La Familia. But the overall result of Finisher of the Year goes to, from TLC 2015, Selena Del Sol onto the ladder for Kalisto. So
I wish I voted for that.
There was a couple of these were close, and as we get into a few more of these, you guys will see there are some ties. But I kind of agree but disagree with this. I mean, it was definitely the biggest spot of the year as far as finishers go.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know if we're going in terms of the impact, no pun intended, of the finish in going forward in the broad scheme of things. I definitely agree with the curb stomp and the spear, and even the resurgence almost of the tombstone pile driver. Having a little bit more significance this year.
Or the pedigree.
Yeah. The pedigree returning to fame, if you will. After
even though no offense to Seth, but he doesn't do it very well, but he's getting better. Oh, he was getting better until he got hurt.
He doesn't do it as well as the guy's shirt that I'm wearing right now. Wearing it for you, Aaron.
Nice.
Actually wore one Triple H shirt yesterday and one today. But what were you going to say, Mark?
Is there any reason why Dirty Deeds and the way it was done was changed?
Maybe concussions. It was kind of
a headlock, where it was kind of like a headlock driver. I guess it was different, right? It was different to how he did it. Then it became something similar to what Mick Foley would do with the double underhook, right? I just don't know why they changed that. It seemed like the snap on it before kind of looked different, and that's what made it, play up to the camera. Then he gets to show any expressions where he gets to turn his back in order to grab. I don't know. I just thought they could have kept it, but I don't know why they had changed it.
I mean, if I'm looking at if I'm trying to get into the mind of WWE and understand why they would change it, I mean, maybe they believe that the double underhook is maybe a more classic move, and maybe it. I don't know. I mean, maybe it's more impactful. That they believe it's more impactful. It's kind of a swinging double underhook. I'm not sure. I agree with you. I liked it. I like the other version of Dirty Deeds a little better, but I think he needs a new finishing move. I mean, I'm not a big fan of either or. I don't know.
Are you guys ready? Oh, go ahead.
A lot of THC that doesn't, like, kind of in the Jake Roberts type vein, that you know that you don't get up from it, whereas everybody seems to get up from a THC. It's just his would have to be built up like what they did with Reigns and the Spears, that whatever that finish is, should really wipe you out.
Yeah.
Agreed. Shall we move on to the next award?
Mm-hmm.
Go for it.
This one was... Oops. Alright, wait a minute, hold on. And this one was... Okay, there we go. Sorry, I couldn't hear myself talk for a second. Can you guys hear me all right?
Yep, you're fine.
Alright, this one was an overwhelming opinion, and honorable mention does go to Mauro Ranallo, soon to be for SmackDown, and formerly, he was New Japan, right?
New Japan did a lot of boxing for Showtime as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And he gets honorable mention, but I think this one's going without saying who wins Commentator of the Year. And that would be Corey Graves of NXT. I don't think, as far as WWE goes, I don't think there was much competition. What do you think, Aaron?
This is going to be unpopular, but I don't really think Corey Graves is much of a commentator yet. I think he's a little overrated as far as a commentator is concerned. I understand that, like I said, I'm not going to give him too much criticism because he's still fairly new to this entire thing, and he's trying to find what suits him as a commentator. But I don't think he's very good. I mean, he's okay for how long he's been doing it, but I think my pick was Kevin Kelly. I think Kevin Kelly is a great commentator, great play-by-play guy, probably the best play-by-play guy you got right now in pro wrestling. No offense to Michael Cole, he's just not. I think Michael Cole is a good commentator. I think he's just produced in a bad light. I think Vince and Kevin Dunn and the way they make him talk, he's turned into a caricature of himself. I mean, if you go back and listen to his stuff on SmackDown, and when he was just getting started, he was great. I mean, he was fantastic. But now he's kind of become a shell of himself because of how overproduced he is. But I think if you're going to give a Commentator of the Year award to someone, I think Kevin Kelly or King Carino, either or, are great. Both great in ROH right now.
What are your thoughts, Mark?
When I voted, I kind of cheated. I think John could probably tell me. Say that. When I voted, I did vote for Corey Graves. I think more for, I guess, being out there, his exposure, and potentially what he could be. But it was really a difficult one. I was also in the King Carino, Steve Carino, Mr. Wrestling 3, whoever you want to call him right now, because of his unscripted nature and how he comes across. And not just him, but I think Matt Stryker, for the year he had with Lucha Underground. I mean, there's really good commentating out there. It's not always evident when the bad is just so out there. I haven't heard Josh Matthews since he's gone over to TNA as much alongside the Pope. But I'm wondering, how is he coming across? How's his commentary been?
He's okay. I mean, he's a little better than he was in WWE. I think he's allowed a little more freedom in TNA to kind of say what he wants to say, but he's still not very good, unfortunately. I think the Pope is atrocious. I mean, he's so hard to listen to.
God-awful.
Yeah, he's as bad as Booker T. I mean, Booker T, I can't stand on commentary when he was doing it, and Pope is just on that level of just kind of over-pronunciating and overselling everything and just being a little too loud and
a little too cartoony with his reactions.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. But TNA's missing Taz right now, but Taz isn't missing TNA.
No.
But next one up is... I don't have the sound effect for one of these guys, but it is a tie for Return of the Year. Actually, I don't have the sound effects for either of them. I kind of forgot about them. But Return of the Year is a tie to both the Dudley Boys and The Undertaker.
Interesting.
It was equal amount of votes for the two between the Dudleys and the Undertaker, with WWE also receiving honorable mention was Del Rio. So
Yeah, I voted for the Dudleys. I thought that was I think that was one of the only returns that was shocking. I remember not hearing anything about that previous, and the New Day were just celebrating, and all of a sudden you see fireworks strike the ramp, and they're the Dudleys. So I picked that one just on pure shock value alone. Their return since has been a little lackluster. They were kind of, I don't know if you want to say fed to the New Day, but they had kind of an underwhelming feud with the New Day, and they're definitely being fed to the Wyatt family right now. So. But as far as like shock value and kind of coming out of nowhere, I went with the Dudley Boys.
I had gone with Del Rio, but the day that I think John and I both had found out, because we had picks as to who we had done a pre-show for Hell in a Cell, and Wayne, who was on the show, broke the news to us that it was going to be Del Rio that shows up, and lo and behold, I'm like, son of a nutcracker. The guy was right. It was Del Rio that showed up. So from where things were at, to see him back was my pick because I hadn't seen it coming. But to hear it and then actually see it come was nice.
yeah, because we got a lot of those kind of returns hyped throughout the year, and to actually see one come true that was rumored is rare.
Yeah, because no sooner than maybe an hour after our pre-show had ended, did he show up.
Yep.
We're like, what the? Yeah.
Holy Yule log.
So what was your pick?
For me, I said the Dudleys. You know, as far as the impact, you know, even though they've kind of jobbed since they've been back, the creative teams kind of sided with pushing the New Day instead. But I think their return added such a depth and dimension to that tag division that it's sorely needed, and it adds some name value and some credibility to the WWE roster that they needed. You know, especially now with how many guys are out.
Mm-hmm.
And who knows? It could, especially if they get a run with the tag belts, it could bring back some older fans that were Dudley Boys, fans 10, 15 years ago.
Yep.
So, both in the present tense and possible future tense, I picked the Dudleys. Mm-hmm. And next up for me, well, not for me, for us is the shocking moment of the year. Now, mind you, Wayne came up with these, so sorry if they're very Slammy Award-esque names. I had Wayne come up with the ballot. More so for him to be here reading it because he didn't give me his ballot. That was the plan, that he was going to be the one going off script.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, nothing goes to plan here at Main Event Madness, as you guys have learned and will learn.
Mm-hmm.
But
I went with Seth Rollins cash again. I think that was, for me, easily the most shocking moment of the year. Him losing earlier the night kind of maybe foreshadowed it a little bit, but at the moment I wasn't thinking about that, and it kind of came as a true shock to me when his music hit and he ran down to the ring. And if you go back and watch the clip, you can see Mr. Joel O'Brien losing his absolute mind in the right hand corner when Rollins is running to the ring. So that was probably my favorite moment or most shocking moment for me of the year.
I think when I voted, I don't know why, I kind of cast the same thing with Del Rio showing up. I think I've been stuck on that particular moment, but it's kind of hard to argue Rollins showing up as well. That decision to have him come out there last second really changed the complexity of that match, and it took any heat that was being built for anything that Roman Reigns is doing, because I'm not sure how it was in person, guys, but from the way it sounded, very impartial to one particular person in Brock Lesnar. So to have Rollins come out really kind of took away from that. It's probably what the match needed.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of us, the group of us where we were sitting, you know, as the match went on, me loving the heels, I'm like, man, I kind of hope that Seth cashes in. And Matt kept telling me, no, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen, it's not going to happen. And to coincide with the shocking moment of the year, this hits, and literally, I don't know how loud it came across on TV, literally the 77,000 of us, or whatever amount were there, lost our ever-loving minds.
Yeah.
Because we realized then we were a part of even more history because it was the first time it had ever happened at Mania.
Yep.
Let alone in a match already going on.
Yeah.
So, yes, the main event Madness Shocking Moment of the Year award goes to Seth Rollins, cashing in at WrestleMania 31. Keep the last little phrase there in mind, because pay-per-view of the year, kind of going hand in hand with this. Definitely getting honorable mention was Wrestle Kingdom 9.
Mm-hmm.
It was actually a 5-4 vote, and I had one vote. No, it was 5-4 and one vote for Ring of Honor, if my memory serves right.
Wow.
So the pay-per-view of the year goes to, and I was very biased when I made my pick. Yeah, I'm sorry. It was 5-4 to 1-1, not counting myself.
What was 4? What was that, Wrestle Kingdom? Or?
Wrestle Kingdom.
Yeah. I went with Wrestle Kingdom. I said earlier in the show that it was probably the best top-to-bottom wrestling show I've ever seen. And, when you look at the entire card, you go to, Tanahashi and Okada having a great main event, and Tanahashi winning the IWGP Heavyweight title and kind of almost shaming Okada as he walked away. I thought that was a great moment. And for me, Okada, my apologies, Nakamura and Ibushi for the IWGP Intercontinental Championship was probably the match of the night for me. Even if you go down the card, and you had some classic matches. You had the Fatal 4-Way Tag Team match. You had Maccabi and Ishii fighting for the never open-weight title, which was one of the most hard-hitting matches I've ever seen. For me, I just enjoyed that pay-per-view so much. So that's why I picked. I mean, WrestleMania 31 was definitely up there for me as well as maybe 1A behind Wrestle Kingdom 9. But ultimately, I went with New Japan's biggest event of the year.
Any thoughts, Mark?
I had gone with WrestleMania. I think just the Rollins factor and how that came about. It's never, WrestleMania doesn't always seem to be the event that it should be, and it's highlighted because it was really, I guess, the Super Bowl of any of their events, right? So the fact that I found that this year in particular, between the returns in the ring of Orton and having, I guess, the Argentine Invitational and those sorts of things, I guess it just caught up with us, and that's what kind of stuck out. It's really hard to dispute Wrestle Kingdom, I guess, and how New Japan has become more and more prominent in where they are. It's really hard to argue with Aaron's selection, because that was a great choice too. So I did enjoy 13th anniversary. I might have mentioned that last week too. I thought it was a really well put together show on behalf of Ring of Honor. So, but yeah, WrestleMania was kind of the one that I went with this particular year. Don't know about next year though.
Yeah, well, next year is going to be people hoping it's going to be the case of what this year was. Because we all went into this and we said on the show, and Lord knows Al spoke out about it, and I don't remember what Aaron's opinions were going into WrestleMania. We went into it thinking it was going to be a really shitty WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
And we're like, oh god, this one's not going to be that good. And we walked out of there, holy shit, that was the greatest WrestleMania of all time, maybe second to 17.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, the build for all the matches weren't great. I mean, you had Bray kind of carrying his own feud with The Undertaker, kind of doing his own thing each week, where The Undertaker wasn't even seen on TV. You had, Roman and Lesnar just kind of doing a lot of interview segments and contract signing segments. And then you had Sting and Hunter doing a lot of the same thing, where they got physical a couple of times, but it was a lot of the same. So it was a lot of just kind of waiting for WrestleMania, and there wasn't really much must see stuff going into the show on Raw and SmackDown. So I completely agree with Al that the build up to WrestleMania 31 was really not great, but the show ended up becoming maybe a lot of people, like you said, one of the greatest shows in WrestleMania history. So
Absolutely.
Did the Triple H intro with the Terminator spin on it, did it look as good in person?
I missed it.
I don't know. I don't know how it necessarily. I mean, on television, it looked a little over the top, and I guess I was around a lot of people that were just cynical about it. Like,
we got to get Joel or we got to get Matt on the show one of these days, and we'll be able to ask them. I missed it because I was in the line for concessions when I didn't realize their match was next. Probably should have waited, but.
I don't want to misquote Joel, but I'm pretty sure Joel was not a fan of the entrance from Hunter. Of course I loved it. I mean, obviously, but I do get the criticism of maybe it being a little over the top. I thought it was a little too long. But I love Hunter's entrances, so I'm biased in that respect.
The funniest thing about his entrance, though, was you count it with his entrance, was the hilariously undersized logos on his tights.
Mm.
Like the knee pads, the logos were gigantic, and then on his tights, the thing's like a little tiny thing.
Yeah.
Like I saw a lot of people commenting about that, but
I don't think anything can beat Hunter's entrance at 30. I think 30 was one of his best. As over the top as that one was as well. A lot of people that were there were saying that how awesome it was, and if you go back and listen to his entrance at 30, you can hear people kind of turning and cheering for him during that entrance. You could hear a lot of people chanting for Hunter and kind of almost starting the segment, with Stephanie in the middle of the ring announcing he's going to, kind of announcing him to come out. A lot of people were booing, and then it kind of almost turns the tide because of how cool the entrance was with the lasers and the throne and all that stuff. But I don't think anything can beat that entrance there, for me at least.
And speaking of not being able to beat anything, our breakout star of the year, who was kind of an overwhelming pick again, and I'm not even going to BS going into it. It was a resounding, I believe, 7-8 people voted for him. Kevin Owens won our Breakout Star of the Year award. I mean, especially as WWE goes, I don't think there was much argument. I mean, Roman Reigns kind of broke out a little too late, really.
Yeah.
Whereas this guy, I mean, he's been dominating and he's been really holding his own. I mean, even though he's lost, he's been dominating for the most part. He dominated a good 7 months of the year.
Yeah, I mean, I think everyone would agree that Owens is probably the breakout star of the year, coming in and beating John Cena on his first night or his first match in WWE. We could all debate on how they handled him afterwards, and if they kind of dropped the ball on making him a top guy right away. But Owens has been able to kind of ride the wave and stay relevant and be in a feud with Dean Ambrose now. And Dolph Ziggler. So. I think he's definitely a breakout star. I think you have to, maybe highlight, like we said last week with Ethan Carter III, or this week, I forget when we said it. But yeah, with Ethan Carter III, definitely someone that needs to be considered. Even Jay Lethal, who is definitely in contention for the Wrestler of the Year, I think definitely deserves some kind of mention in this category as well.
Any thoughts, Mark?
Kind of really hard to see anybody other than guys like John Cena having the kind of year that they have. As far as breakout star that you were talking about, Jay Lethal had an amazing year. Ethan Carter had an incredible year. As far as standing out, Kevin Owens, really, it's incredible. A friend and I went to go see Global Wars back in, I guess it was 2014, and it was in front of an audience of 1,000 people in Ring of Honor, where he faced, maybe he faced Adam Cole. Actually, it was 2013, where he had faced Adam Cole, and yes, he didn't win it, but to see where he was there to how he's parlayed that just a year later, or a year or so later, it's pretty amazing. So, the guy from Quebec turned his career into something even more. He's really well seasoned. Fans have known that he's been in PWG and Ring of Honor and really earned his stripes. So we say breakout, but it's kind of 15 years in the making for this breakout star, and kudos to him.
Absolutely. And now we're getting into the cream of the crop, the meat and potatoes of these awards. We've got the final four, if you will, and in no particular order, these are the top awards. I mean, I think anybody will agree. And I'm going to go with Tag Team of the Year. I don't think, especially in WWE, aside from the Dudleys, although this one wasn't as close as I thought it was. And definitely honorable mention. Wow, I can't talk. To the Young Bucks. Having a phenomenal year.
Yeah.
But just edging them out by one vote.
Really? That close?
Yes.
Oh.
Just edging them out by one vote.
Oh, Miami! Don't you dare be sour!
The New Day wins Tag Team of the Year. And as far as WWE goes, it's not close. It's not even close as far as WWE is concerned.
Yeah, I would tend to agree. I think they've done such a great job of coming full circle. I mean, if we remember where this team started as being these overjoyed baby faces that were virtually hated by everyone, and now becoming probably the most popular tag team on the WWE roster. I mean, these guys definitely deserve every bit of praise that they've gotten, and they've really made this gimmick into their own. So, congratulations to them.
Mark?
It's incredible. I sit here thinking Kofi Kingston has a lot of personality. You give him a chance.
Yeah.
Because that was never the guy that I thought could do the things that he does and be as over the top as he is. Let alone Big E. You always kind of thought there was something about Xavier, I guess, during his time with R-Truth, and you heard little nuances about his character and what he could do. You put the three of them together, they really, as you guys have said, they're at a completely different level. Where these are the kind of guys as a tag team that are so over, they could be a main event. You wouldn't necessarily need to lean on your heavyweight title. They're the guys that could close a show. They start a show, they manage to be in the middle of the show, and they close it. If there's a fear in 2016, is that overexposure, and I think we probably talked about it too with them. So being popular is great, and having the year they have, they can't argue it. Just maybe they need to be used in moderation just for their own benefit so they have longevity. And that's what we kind of hope for 2016 for the New Day.
Yeah, and really quickly, just a couple of honorable mentions that I just wanted to throw out there. I think Red Dragon definitely deserves to be mentioned here. A newer tag team, Matt Sydal and Ricochet, who have been tearing it up in New Japan and in ROH and all over the world. They've been fantastic. Even if you want to go back earlier this year, you can talk about Kid and Cesaro. They were on a hot streak, and unfortunately, they both got hurt. But yeah, I have no arguments. The New Day definitely deserve this award.
The Wolves, I guess, in TNA.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We don't have as much exposure to them, but both Eddie Edwards and Davey Richards putting on a classic. And it's incredible. These guys were in NXT for I couldn't believe it for just a split second. And as talented as they are in TNA and having a great year too, winning championships. So there's a lot of great talent out there. It's just a matter of having the tag team division really focused. Ring of Honor, like you mentioned, has a lot of prominent teams, a lot of teams that are out there fighting, along with what just recently happened in Final Battle. I won't spill the beans on anything if anybody hasn't seen it, but if you're really pleased between threat and the tag team match, it's just as important. So, a lot of great teams out there. Yeah.
Now, from one that was close to one that wasn't even close. It was, I believe, 10-1.
Really.
Diva of the Year.
Hmm.
Asuka got 1 vote. And Sasha Banks is the winner of Diva of the Year.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you think?
Well, I was in Sasha landslide, I guess. Well, I'm surprised if I wasn't as aware of Kana or Asuka's work outside. I know she's popular in Japan and she wrestles a lot there. So I don't know what else she did throughout the year that would lead her into female of the year. That's what I'm not so sure of. If you look at it, the complete body of work, and I thought but how everybody sees it is different. But when it came to Sasha, it's kind of hard to argue with it. She was almost a backup character when it came to her and Charlotte as part of the PFF, and turn that into something so much bigger. And good for her. And right now in Team Bad Channing Quad Sasha, she really doesn't need anybody else, and yet she's with them to try and be part of the team. She stands alone. She stands strong, and kudos to her for the year that she's had. Her matches with Bayley, the NXT takeover in Brooklyn, really was something else. Forward to 2016 for it. It's only a matter of time before they put her in a position where she's holding the title.
Yeah, completely agree. I mean, I think if you look at the body of work this year, I think Sasha Banks runs away with it as the female wrestler of the year. Of course, you can mention Bayley being right up there with her, Charlotte being right up there with her. If you look on the independent circuit, Santana Garrett, definitely someone that needs to be mentioned in this category, holding so many indie titles right now. Like Mark said, I mean, if you look at body of work this year, Sasha definitely runs away with it, becoming this character and really being able to really lead the women's charge for better wrestling. I mean, she's definitely deserving of this title.
And from being deserving of one title to being deserving of another title. Another very close one, but it edged it out at the last second. I had to get clarification on one ballot. Match of the year goes to piggyback off of the last one. Sasha Banks versus Bayley at NXT Brooklyn. Just edging out their match at Respect.
Really?
Well, it's incredible to think that, we've gotten to the point in 2015 where, and this may sound harsh, but a women's match, winning match of the year. I think a lot of ballots, whoever's doing awards, every website, every even WWE, everyone that's doing an award show, I think this match will win that award. I mean, this match from top to bottom, when you talk about not even just a great females match or a great women's match, just a great wrestling match. It had everything you'd want, great psychology, great in-ring work. The story was there. Bayley kind of scratching and clawing for years and years to get the NXT Women's Championship, finally beats someone in Sasha Banks who is the epitome of a champion. I think this match had every element of what a great match is in 2015. I, of course, voted for Nakamura and Ibushi from Wrestle Kingdom 9. I'm just going to keep sitting here and beating my drum of Wrestle Kingdom 9 and how great a show that was. But I can't take anything away from Bayley and Sasha in Brooklyn.
Yeah, actually, to correct myself before I let Mark talk. Sorry, Mark, didn't mean to cut you off. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry. Okay. The Bayley Sasha match was great. I don't want to seem to be one that was harsh. I didn't necessarily vote for it. It really wasn't the one that stuck out. Elimination Chamber, John Cena, Kevin Owens. That first match really pushed both of them. You saw things from both guys that you never would have seen normally. So I think that was the match that really stood out to me. Just kind of waiting for the next. What's the next thing that's going to happen?
Mm-hmm.
Even though it was Kevin Owens' win, everything that went into that match, the selling of everything, the moves that were hit, People were able to see different things from Kevin Owens that they hadn't seen while it was in NXT. And they saw different things from John Cena that they hadn't seen earlier on in the year. So as you put those two elements together, it made for a really entertaining match. And the Elimination Chamber was just focused on as being WWE Network only. So I'm not sure if that really falls under a pay-per-view, but it is on the network. It was pretty special.
Absolutely. And to go, before we get ready to wrap up here, guys, our last award, someone who is very special and has a very bright future ahead of him. This was a close one with a lot of different picks, from Nakamura to John Cena. But the majority pick for Star of the Year, Male Wrestler of the Year, Superstar of the Year, just edging it out. It was like a vote of like 5 to 2 to 2 to 1. Like it was a very, pretty wide range of guys. But I think I've skirted around or skated around it long enough.
Yeah.
Winning his second award of the night, Seth Rollins, our Male Wrestler of the Year, Superstar of the Year, whatever you want to call it.
Yep. I mean, for the PWP thing we're doing the similar thing. We're doing year-round awards, and he ran away with it on Twitter and on Facebook. I mean, he pretty much destroyed the field, and a lot of people believe that Rollins is the man of the year. He is the top guy in the business right now as far as overall performance is concerned. I voted for John Cena. I know that might be unpopular, but I felt like he had a great year this year. I think as far as him taking a back seat and taking a hold of that United States Championship, going out there week after week on Raw and putting together great matches with guys like Dean Ambrose and Cesaro and Neville and Stardust and all these great talents that usually wouldn't get that time on a main show like Raw. I think John definitely deserves some praise here. I knew he wasn't going to win this award, but I just wanted to throw his name in there because I think a lot of people will overlook his contributions to WWE this year as being probably one of the best things about the show. But Seth Rollins definitely someone that deserves this award as well.
Mark, any thoughts?
I'm just trying to recover from the message right now. Again, seeing Seth Rollins, saying John Cena really flip a coin because the two sides of the same coin. Having a great year. And what does that say about the company where two guys that aren't even there right now had the best year of anybody that's there?
Yep.
So it says a lot about what they did while they were there. And even though their years were shortened, whether by leave or by injury, stood out. They were focus points. They conveyed their message. They conveyed their character. And fans bought into it. And whether it was a match between actually the both of them at SummerSlam or on their own to get to the point where they are, again, Seth Rollins, John Cena, neither one really loses if one's first, one's second.
Absolutely. And, all in all, it was a good year wrestling. Ups and downs as everything goes, but looking forward to seeing an upswing in 2016. 2015 was kind of the foundation being built, and now we get to see the house come up in 2016, and I'm looking forward to seeing it. And guys, I want to give you guys each a couple minutes here. Say whatever you want to say about the year that was, about the work that you guys do on the side, besides Main Event Madness, whatever you want. Mark, go ahead first, and then Aaron, just speak your mind. Go ahead.
As far as looking forward to 2016, it's been a great start. John, I want to thank you for the opportunity to come out, be able to build the show and get it going. I apologize. I know the plans were for us to have the show earlier than possible. But you're really accommodating, and I want to thank you for that. And to our new co-host, Aaron, I'm excited about what the coming year brings, too. I'm looking forward to that. As far as things that I'm do on the side, those may or may not be aware, I do have a tendency to write. Sometimes I write a lot. Sometimes it makes sense. And what I have been writing are a lot of lists for the riches.com. I'm also with tgrwrestling.net, as well as with, I've recently joined the Sportster. You can check out my work on the riches.com. I just posted something, and I will post frequently on our Main Event Madness page, something that I've written. Get a chance to read it. Let me know what you think. Agree, disagree. Again, like everything else, it's subjective. If you have ideas, please feel free to throw them my way. You can hit me up on Twitter at the Mark Madison. Any ideas for lists for things? There are a bunch of things that I'm looking at. Families that were promoted as being related but weren't really related, who stands out. You can look out for wrestlers that have had a terrible year, those that have had an exceptional year. I'll also give you some best and worst of Ring of Honor's Final Battle 2015. I'm excited about the coming year, and pass it over Aaron.
Well, I'll first speak as a PWP Nation ambassador. You can go to pwpnation.com right now. Great articles and content up there right now. We have a bunch of things planned for 2016, including a partnership with Main Event Madness. Obviously, I'm just thrilled to be a part of this show. Obviously, with Mark and John. And for 2016, pwpnation.com will be adding a mixed martial arts, UFC, Bellator section where we'll be covering MMA as well. That's such a huge market, so we felt like we needed to accommodate that audience. And of course, with the influx of popularity with people like Ronda Rousey and Conor McGregor, we thought maybe that's something that we needed to do. Also, to follow us on Twitter and Facebook, you can head over to facebook.com/Pro Wrestling Powerhouse, and on Twitter at PWP Nation. As far as I'm concerned, you can follow me at Aaron_PWP. We'll also be doing, I'll also be writing some stuff for the website, of course, pwpnation.com. I'm writing currently a piece on Baron Corbin and how I've come full circle on accepting him as a top guy in NXT. Obviously, I was very harsh on the guy earlier this year. Now I've kind of come full circle, and he's become one of my favorite parts about NXT each week. So I'll be writing a piece on that. I'm also writing a piece on 10 things that need to happen in WWE in 2016. So I'll be on the lookout for that as well. And that's about it. I mean, happy holidays to everyone, and like once again, John, thanks for letting me be a part of this show.
Not a problem, guys. I'm happy that you guys both are excited for the future and both are happy to be on here. You know, as I've been saying it, I've been beating it. It's blue in the face. A lot of ups, a lot of downs this year. But you know what? I'm excited, and I'm more motivated than I've been in quite some time. And I want Main Event Madness possibly one day to be the top wrestling podcast out there. But if nothing else, it gives me a chance to shoot the breeze with a couple of friends and just get my opinions out there and just be able to hang out with a couple guys and talk about wrestling and talk about whatever, and, you know, share these moments with all of you and with you guys as we live day by day in this world of pro wrestling. And, you know, 250 almost 1,000 strong listens. I can't put into words how much that means, considering I was happy when I hit 100 for the first time. And, you know, it's been a crazy year with a lot of interviews, and, you know, I just had them up here. But, you know, from Gunner, Brodus Clay, Jeff Jarrett, Scott Fishman, CJ Parker, Chris Mordetsky, Lance Hoyt, Doc Gallows, Sanjay Dutt, Bruce Hart. Thank you to all of you for taking time out of your schedules to chat with me, chat with us here at Main Event Madness, and, you know, let us get to know you guys a little bit better. And I'm excited for the future and to who else we may have down the line. And I employ, well, I don't know if that's the best way to word it. I hope each and every one of you stick with us through 2016, because big things will come. You know, I said it last week, or it might have been earlier this week. I don't know. With a group of guys like us three here, and with PWP Nation, and with our extended group of colleagues here, Main Event Madness, only good things can come from this many people motivated for success. And look forward to nothing but having fun and excitement in 2016. And guys, I look forward to having it all here with you. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention Rob Kelm-Lestro and Jim Key also with Smash Wrestling interviews. I apologize, I left them out before. And thank you to Evan Ginsberg sharing Ginsberg's Gab with us each and every week. Wayne Daly for having the show on wrestling-news.net streaming live every week. And to Jay and Aaron of Pro Wrestling Powerhouse, PWP Nation, for allowing us to come on board. And excited for big things to come in 2016, guys. Any final thoughts?
As far as wrestling is concerned, 2016 should be a good year. Interested to see how Roman Reigns develops as a top guy in WWE. Interested to see how that affects John Cena and how he's booked. Interested to see how Lucha Underground and in Ring of Honor and TNA, and if they can grow and become get a larger audience. How New Japan, obviously translate to the U.S. market. I think 2016 is going to be a great year for wrestling, and I'm excited about it.
All right. Mark, anything, or are you good to go?
No, pretty much mirroring what Aaron had said. Just kind of curious as to who's going to be the next star that maybe stands out. Who's going to have the great year? Who's going to be the one that's utilized or connects with the fans that nobody necessarily saw? I'm really excited about Sami Zayn's future and how he maybe starts off back with NXT and how he turns that into. I'm still looking forward for that run with him and Kevin Owens and having something special there. Again, with all the other promotions that are mentioned, I'm curious about GFW and what they're going to move on and do, along with New Japan, Ring of Honor, Lucha Underground, and seeing how TNA hopefully can try and build up and create more of a following too, something a little more substantial for all the different promotions. Wrestling looks very promising in 2016.
Absolutely. And guys, do me a favor, if you guys have the time, follow me on Twitter at John MEM Radio. It's the official Twitter account of Main Event Madness. And give us a like on Facebook, facebook.com/Main Event Madness, and memnetwork.wix.com/home. It's our website. I got to get some updating on that on the next coming days and weeks ahead, and I will. And possibly down the road, maybe maineventmadness.com coming back. I don't know yet. Couple questions with that, but time will tell. But guys, Happy New Year's, Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, the likes, and we will see you in 2016, guys. It's been an amazing year, and I'm looking forward to 2016. Like I said, follow me on Twitter at John MEM Radio. Follow Aaron at Aaron_ERON_PWP, PWP at PWP Nation, and at the Mark Madison at WN_net for wrestling-news.net and Wayne Daly. And LegendsTVNYC.com. Legends TV airs Saturdays 11 a.m. Eastern. MadhouseTV.com, and like I said, LegendsTVNYC.com. One of the best online shows out there, and you guys are going to be doing yourself a great justice spending an hour and a half with Evan and either Steve Ludwig or John Winnell, his two co-hosts that he has in with him. And that's it, guys. Be happy, be safe out there. Enjoy the New Year's, enjoy the holidays, guys, and we will see you, Lord willing, in 2016, guys. And that's it. Till next year, guys. Have a good one.
Cheers.